All right, estate sale and junk shop finds. Last weekend of January 2024. All kinds of stuff. Let's see, what did I do this weekend? One big estate sale. Okay, that netted some tools and such. There was one was builds an estate sale. It turned out it was really just a garage sale, and they weren't really selling anything. Kind of thing where they say, we got tools, and we got hunting items, we got this, we got that. You get there, and none of that's actually for sale. Just a few things in the corner, I still found one or two tools and whatnot, minor little things, and that was it. Kind of a waste. Anyway, and of course, on the way back from that failure, we stopped at a good old-fashioned junk shop. Yeah, billed as an antique shop, but not really. Think more Sanford and Son. A lot of industrial salvage and just a ton of stuff. A lot of good stuff. I was there for quite a while. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Retina 2. Retina 2A. This is a 35mm camera. These were made for Kodak in Germany by Kodak's German division. Really, really good cameras. I'm told that even today, these still have a following. I used to shoot one of these back in the 80s, late 80s, and it took really good pictures. When I went digital, I ended up selling it. I had quite a bit of money for it, and I found another one for very little, so I picked it up. And, they're still filming this camera. Who knows what's on it? I'll shoot out the rest of the roll and see if it develops. It's probably 50 years old. But that's the Retina 2, or to be correct, the Retina 2A, 51 to 54, so I'm told they are. Let's see. This was in there, in the camera case. That's not really that old. It's hard to say how old that film is, but I'm going to guess it's 80s. Well, whatever it is. Okay, moving on. Flash magnifier. It's brand new in the box, made in Japan, probably late 60s. Don't really know what it's for. It's magnifying. Obviously, it takes a C cell or maybe two C cells. Not in there. Look like they've ever been in there. And I guess it magnifies things. I don't really know. It was brand new in the box. I couldn't resist it, so I picked it up. At that half-assed garage sale, I found this. Made in Western Germany. So, Orphan Tools. They don't have a country anymore. Europa. Still has the decal on it. Looks like it's never been used. Probably, I'm going to say, early 70s. There were a lot of these tools around at that time being sold. Hardware stores, and Sears had a line of Japanese tools and some West German stuff. Cheaper alternative to the U.S. tool makers at the time. Fairly well-made tools. Just as good as a Rigid, I imagine. But this one's made in Western Germany. It's cast right in there. Interesting. So I grabbed it, a little 8-inch one. I grabbed it. This is actually from last week. I just painted it up. That's all. That's what it looks like, all nice and painted. Last week's. This one was Japanese. Last week's sale there. Okay. Found a lot of pliers. This is probably from the estate sale. We have a pair of vintage channel locks here. Nice design on the handle there. Really good shape. Nice teeth. Still guaranteed forever. If it breaks, send it back to channel lock. The usual wooden handle screwdrivers. I'm always picking these up. I like wood handle screwdrivers, especially when they're in good shape like this one is. There's no maker on there, but who knows what it is. Probably for a hardware store. Larger pair of TrueFit pliers here. Sometimes, I don't come across the larger pairs like this too often. This weekend I have found two. Usually they're small pairs, of which I have a pair up here somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's here. Every now and then I find one of these. This is the Eiffel geared plier wrench, or the Flash plier. This is the one they call the Flash. Yeah, Eiffel Flash, Eiffel geared. Same exact thing. Usually, when you see one with this particular marking on it, like that, see it? It says Eiffel Flash plier wrench, patent date, made in Chicago. And on the other side, there's nothing on the other side. This is, I believe, pre-1932. This is from the 1920s, about 1932. After that, they made the same thing, but they put a date on it. There's a date on the back and some other information, even a price. These have, same as any plier wrench, really. The jaws come out. You can interchange this part of the jaw. They come in a kit for like 6 or 7 jaws you can get for them. Excellent, excellent tool. I use these all the time. Not this particular pair. I just found these, but on eBay, these things run like $35, $45, usually sometimes up to $100 if they have the case and all the attachments. This one was $10. How could you go wrong with that? So I got an extra pair for $10. There's another pair in my toolbox here that I use all the time. Expansive bit. Who made you? Wright. That was made by Wright. In really good shape, too. It's a nice one. So that went in a little bag. Let's put all that stuff back so it doesn't get in the way. Knocking things on the floor. In that junk shop, I hit the mother load of coffee pots. I have a hard time finding these. I use them on the wood stove here in the big shop. I have a hard time finding them in good condition, which means that the inside is not all crudded up and disgusting. These ones are basically like brand new. 2 of them I don't believe have ever been used. Those 2 in the back there, they're so spotless inside. I don't think anybody's ever used them. I have the larger version of this that's getting a little bit of rust on it, so I've taken it out of service. And this one has a few little chips on it somewhere. I don't know where. Somewhere on there. But other than that, these are really good shape. The price was right, so I picked them up. I think the big one was $25. The 2 small ones came out to because he knocked a bunch off. I bundled it, so he knocked a bunch. Figure about $10 to $15 each. And on eBay, stuff like this is ridiculous. And you never really get a good idea how much rust and crud are inside of them. And that's important because I don't decorate with this crap. I use it. It's going to be filled with water, put on the stove with the purpose of boiling the water to make me a cup of tea or whatever else, hot chocolate, whatever I feel like eating. Okay. We have a variety of antique. The clock, of course, is from last week, but of course, it has now been fixed. The clock is keeping good time. It chimes, all of that. So does the little one on top. That's from last week's estate sale. We'll ignore that for now. This glass here is for one of those lanterns, actually the Dietz Monarch. I found one of those. It's not here because I cleaned it up and painted it, and that's away drying. It still needs a burner. But I found one of those basically for nothing because it was lying outside in not so good shape. Anyway, typical oil lamps. I've put new wicks, filled them with oil, and of course, good. The burners are good. They fire right up. These came from the junk shop, and I actually found a source of burners right there. He had a huge box full. I bought 5 or 6, all different sizes, brand new, USA made, old stock, for very little. So I stocked up. I don't need them that often, but every now and then you'll get a lantern with a broken burner, a rusted one, and then you got to go on eBay and you end up paying $25, $30 for one. I'm not doing that. But these are nice lanterns. I have not checked them to see if they are radium glass, but I will when my black light gets here. You never know. Oh, there we go. And they're both working. It's a small one and a big one. And this. Let me see if I can pick that up without making a mess. Anybody know what this is? It says it. You're cheating. Stonebridge. This is an original Stonebridge folding camp lantern with mica panels intact. One has a few small fractures, but not really that bad. Candle lantern, as you see, the candle is in there burning. These fold down to like a... I don't want to fold this one, obviously. It is burning, but... They fold down to about this big and that wide, about the size of the front panel there. And they were developed just before the First World War. They were used by the military, used by the medical corps, used by a lot of campers, adventurers, and people who just wanted a lantern around the house for storms. They're really convenient because when you're not using it, you can fold it flat, stick it in a drawer. It's out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. And then when you do need it, you just pop a candle in there, you know, and you're good to go. These things are, when they're in decent shape like this, with all the parts intact, around $100 on eBay. I looked at a few on there. I'm like, ooh. And this one I got for $20. They repop these today. They still make, not Stonebridge. That company is gone. This one was made, you see the patent date on there? Patented 1908. And it was made in New York City, USA. The repops, of course, are made in China. They're mostly out of brass, or maybe they're all out of brass. And they're not really the same thing. I mean, they work the same way. They do fold down. They're like $75, $85. But they're not really the same level of craftsmanship. I've examined both, and this impressed me a great deal more. See how it's put together there. Those, you can adjust this. There's little sliding louvers in there. So if you're in a really windy place, you can close those off and keep your candle from blowing out. They also throw off a surprising amount of heat. So, okay, we went over the retina, that. Let's talk about braces. These are a couple of really nice braces. This one is Bell System marked. This one has some really nice, I don't know, what is that, lucite, something like that. You can see, plastic, see-through red handles. These are professional grade braces. You know, back in the day, just like today, you could buy a lesser expensive one for small jobs around the house, but if you made your living with tools, you bought the Snap-on version or whatever. Is this North Brothers? Is this a Stanley? Let me look. Hold on a second here. No, I'm sorry. This one's Miller's Falls. This is pre-Stanley Miller's Falls. Stanley took over Miller's Falls when 1946. So this would have been before 46, I guess, because it does not have the Stanley marking on it. The Stanley name is not on this. What does that say? Made in USA. It's upside down. But it's a 10-inch brace. Works really well. It has nice plating still on it. And the other one is nickel plated. And what does that say? Bell System. And what does this say? Right on there. Can you see it? Bell System. A Bell System collectible tool. This is a professional grade fine tooth brace. 8-inch, I believe this one is. Let me see if I can make that click for you so you hear what I mean by fine tooth. This is, hear it? That's nice. That's almost like a ratchet. Well, it is a ratchet, but like a 3/8, a fine tooth 3/8 ratchet or something like that. Really nice. And look at the plating on there. And this is also Miller's Falls, North Brothers. This one is North Brothers. They made a lot of nice tools. This is USA North Brothers. Hold on, now let me think. Was it Miller's Falls or North Brothers? That was oh no, I'm sorry. North Brothers was taken over by Stanley in 1946. That was it. And so this would be pre-46. Miller's Falls, I forget who took them over. Was it Stanley also? Possibly. Don't remember. But these are two professional grade braces in really nice shape. And it's not the only two braces. I always find these. They always get left behind at estate sales and no one wants them. So I grab them and clean them up usually because it takes me a long time to do that. Gives me something to do. There's another one I'll show you in a minute that is not quite a professional grade, but still a nice one. Okay, we covered everything here. The teapots, the lights. Okay, let's look over here now. Now, this is mostly from the first estate sale. We have a big toolbox full of all kinds of wrenches and small pair of pliers. Like I said, I usually find small pliers. Nice paint stirrer screwdriver. That's a nice screwdriver. It's hard to find long screwdrivers like this because why? People use them as pry bars and bend the crap out of them. This one's pretty nice once I get that paint off of there. A lot of Craftsman. We got extensions, sockets, even a little bit of Snap-on in here. More down here. We have, this is a battery terminal cleaner. Always nice to have. All kinds of little clamps in there. We have some really nice, this is a Stanley chisel, earlier one. Wooden handle, I like that. It's not all buggered up. That'll clean up. All this has to be cleaned up. Tape, pliers, all different kinds of pliers there. Craftsman chisels. This box over here has some early Craftsman sockets in there that take the hex key. That all has to be cleaned up. It's a nice box, too. The Western Electric marked box. Who knows what they kept in there. But that's going to be a nice box once it's all clean. And that is a vintage 1970s Craftsman toolbox with the riveted nameplate on there. In pretty good shape, too. That'll clean up nice. I'll shoot it with clear to keep it from getting rusty and any more deteriorated. What do we get up here? We got, of course, I always need to find these. These are always handy to have. Those clamps. This is a vintage Craftsman breaker bar. Yeah, right. Torque wrench. This is what torque wrenches look like back in the 70s for your home shade tree mechanic. You know, this is before everybody had the click set ones. They had this. It looks like it's brand new. I don't think it's ever really been used. Look at it. It's all very clean. Not all greased up and scratched and anything like that. Okay, this is the brace. Another ordinary. This is actually made in Japan, this brace. It's going to need some work, as you can see. This is typical hardware store for homeowners at the time. Hobbyists and stuff like that would use something like this. Always seem to find these. I have a bunch of them lying around. Okay, what's one of these estate sales without yet another egg beater drill? This one is also Miller's Falls. That needs to be cleaned up yet. But it's a nice one. You know, it's a pretty nice one. So that'll clean up pretty good. And I hate leaving them behind because I know they're going to be thrown out. Maybe I'll never use it. But, you know, maybe I'll find a home for it somewhere. Got to be somebody out there that likes to work with these kinds of tools. Pipe wrenches. This guy had a mania for wrapping handles of pipe wrenches. I don't know how many layers of electrical tape and probably dip that went into this. Is this the knot? No, this is rigid. And I'll get that cleaned up and painted and all of that. The jaws are still pretty good. So that'll go into my pipe wrench supply. This is the bicycle wrench. Patented 1897. No idea who made this. It's not marked with a name on it. You know, it does work, so on and so forth. I don't want to get it. It's all sticky. I got oil over me. This is the Nye. Nye pipe. They were a pipe wrench manufacturer back in the 1950s. I believe they were bought out by Symington Wayne in 1964. They made pipes under the Symington umbrella for a while, and I guess eventually simply went out. You can see that they this guy wrapped this one too. And there's the name, Nye. And we got a 24-inch rigid pipe wrench. At the estate sale, the tool room was in the basement, and it was in almost a crawl space. It was 4.5 feet from the floor to the floor joists. 4.5 feet, barely that. So you had to stoop over big time to get in there. And the tools were scattered all over the place. There was even a lathe in there, believe it or not. The guy who worked in that tool room must have been, 3.5, 4 feet tall. Anyway, I found this rigid 24-inch pipe wrench in 3 different locations. This was by the door. The nut was on the other side of the room. And the jaw was on the opposite side of the room. It was like a 3, boom, boom, boom. But I, by chance, managed to find all 3 pieces. I don't find the big wrenches that often, and especially not when they're in good shape. This one is. It's not bent. It just needs to be cleaned up and painted. That's all it needs. So that'll get done. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. That's last week's brace. This was from the junk shop. Now, Toski toolbox, nothing special about it. This place just, I don't know how many acres was there. I only got to see a small amount of it because didn't have that much time, and he was closing pretty soon. So I'm guessing 3 acres of stuff, maybe 4. Small items, large items, all over the place. There was a barn there. He had that locked up, but there were no facilities there, and we needed to get rid of the iced tea. We drank large amounts of it at lunch. So I went up to the barn, and I turn around, and I see this little stream going through the property. And along the banks of the stream were a bunch of toolboxes like this, just lined up. Just lined up like little soldiers. Like, whoa, what is that? So, of course, I dove right in there, and I started pulling things out. A nice red Husky, USA Husky. This is pre, China and all of that. Pre, whoever's making, I think Stanley owns them now, maybe. Anyway, some of the tools are out of here now because I'm cleaning them up already. They're post-patent pipe wrenches. Yes, they look rusty, but that will clean up nice. And what do you notice? It's in nice shape. That's the important part. It's in nice shape. It has the all-iron handle, which is the last version of that pipe wrench. They started off with an all-wooden handle, then wooden panels with metal shank, and then all metal. I don't have it in the all-metal ones for some reason, even though they're the latest ones made. So that'll be nice to have. And here is a Stilson wrench. That'll clean up. And if it doesn't, I need some of those parts, those spacers, for another one. We have some auto wrenches down there. Don't know if they're Ford. They could be. I'll clean those up later. What do we got hidden on the side there? We got another one. Yeah, we got an S wrench. Oh, there's the other one. This is what I was talking about, the second version with the wooden panels and the steel shank down the middle. Another Coase patent pipe wrench. I don't know who made this, but it does have a marking on there that could be something interesting. Possibly railroad or something, I don't know. It's got to be cleaned up. Oh, that's who made it. Made in USA by who? Don't know. Gonna have to clean it up to find any other markings. Couple more auto wrenches down there. There's a little pair of dikes of some kind. And then in the back room of this place is where dreams come true. There were so many tools there I could not in 5 lifetimes begin to go through them. Just enormous amounts of tools. And sitting on top of the first pile of look, that was this. Let's see if I can get you a picture of that. Beautiful wooden case. The OK Junior. There's all the information on it. You can read it there. Full, except for the piece that goes here, which I think I actually have. Full set of taps, even a few extras in there. A few dies. One's broke, but that's okay because I know which one it is, and I probably have the spare in my collection of stuff because I collect odd dies all the time and odd taps and everything else. Even has the screwdriver, which is often missing on a lot of these. People use it for other things. Not bad. This costs a little bit more than I was looking to pay, about $65, but it's going to clean up really nice. It's SAE only, of course. This predates the use of a lot of metrics in this country. At least I think there's no metrics on there. I'm pretty sure there's not. Let me see. Pull one out at random and look. Okay. 9/16. But that was a really nice find in there. You don't usually find too many of these in the wild. If you want these beautiful wood box sets, usually you have to go to eBay for them. This is the other wood box set I have is one of the Craftsman ones. That was out of one of last year's estate sales. I searched around on eBay, but I couldn't find this particular set. A lot of other sets by this company. But they were smaller, different boxes, different features, different tools in there. Don't know. Not sure when they made this. I'm guessing, just guessing here, late 1940s through the 50s maybe, or maybe it could be earlier. Who knows? Don't know. I have not yet begun to research this. Oops. But that was a nice find in there. And I'm like, whoa. And any of you who've priced stuff like this on eBay, you know what kind of money to get for kits like this. Quite a bit. And I'll show you the top of the toolbox. With the tray, no less. There were 7 or 8 toolboxes. Most of them not in the best of shape. This one was still nice. Maybe it wasn't there as long. So that was definitely worth a walk through a muddy patch to find. And what else did I find? There were a couple other things. Oh, I got some stuff that I've already cleaned up and painted, a few little wrenches and some things like that. But that's it. Believe it. Everything. Pretty much. What didn't I put here? Oh, I'm sorry. There were some chemicals, some oil additives, transmission fluid, bar and chain oil, that kind of stuff that I usually find at estate sales. And that's always good to find too. I use that stuff pretty much constantly. This is the one that's going to be getting used. Nice and clean. Look at that. At the bottom of that, it's never been on a stove by the look of it. You know, I usually have to battle for these things, and I find them at flea markets and estate sales when they're this clean. Here we are. They're sitting there, all lined up on a shelf in this shop. I'm like, whoa, we came to the right place. And they're not asking ridiculous eBay-style prices for them either, which surprised me even more. I mean, look what he wanted for that. And he took money off. It ended up like $15 or something like that with the bundle. Oh, there it is. That's got a little bit of marking up, but that's not bad. I'll spray some clear on that particular spot. It'll be fine. I'll never wear it out. Oh, I almost forgot the Yankees. Yankee retractable screwdrivers. These are both, I'm pretty sure these are both. I don't know about this one. A little bit of a mystery. This is a Yankee, but it's still marked as North Brothers. There's no Stanley name on there. It was my understanding that the plastic handles were made later on. There's the handyman name. After Stanley had acquired this company. On this wood handle one, it definitely does say Stanley on it. Yeah, that has Stanley right on there. Stanley, whoops, upside down. Stanley Handyman. So I do not know on that one. That's going to take a little bit of research. These are pretty common. You find these usually for $1 or $2 at most. This plastic handle comes with bits. They're all in there too. I've oiled it up a little bit so they work. I have these in every size imaginable. But I like these little ones. These are nice. So I found those there, and they do. Oh, there's another wood handle screwdriver. And and a brush. Forgot about the brush. Stuff like that I like to come across. This is also from the junk shop. I found these actually right underneath the tap and die set. I lifted up the tap and die set. There was a whole bucket full of retractable screwdrivers. So I just reached out with my fingers and kind of snagged those, you know, grabbed them out of there. I'll be going back to that place, and when I do, I'll be looking through a lot more stuff. There was just an overwhelming amount of stuff there. You know, I just couldn't take it all in at one shot. I grabbed what I could, and everything I grabbed was something nice. And that's it. We're done for this weekend. Maybe next weekend there'll be more. Oh, and of course, in that one sort of waste of time garage sale, I did get a sign. And it's actually metal, so yeah, I can use it. There were like 5 things I got there. It wasn't much, you know. It was advertised as being a big garage, big estate sale. Yeah, it's 1 2-car garage, and half the crap in there's not for sale. You know, kind of disappointing because did sort of go out of our way to get there. You know, it's not like it was down the street. This was quite a ways up the line. But it worked out because I came and found all the rest of this crap, well, not the clocks, at the junk shop. So in the end, it did work out, fortunately. So I'm not too upset about that. I did get 1 or 2 things. All right, that's it for now.